All praise to the Most High. Hold on, let me put myself on. There we go, man. All praise to the Most High. Call halal Yahweh by Shem Amashak Wamalak Yahweh Shai. Tonight, y'all line. Uh, and we have hopefully a nice little discussion that's about to happen right now. Lord in Christ. See, they're outside racing in the hood as always. But first off, we're gonna give all praise to the Most High. Call halal Yahweh by Shem Amashak Wamalak Yahweh Shai. And today, Lord willing, we should have a conversation with a brother who doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in the Bible. He literally said the name Yahweh Shai and said it didn't exist. We're going to get more context on what the brother was saying. And I also will bring out how we got here and how we got in this position right here to even have this discussion. So I sent the link to the brother. He did see it. So hopefully he gets on here shortly. And then he can introduce himself and he can tell you a little bit about his background and all that good stuff. But yeah, this should be a fun one. This should definitely be a fun one. Yeah, that's right. All praise to the Most High. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm just waiting on the brother to get on here. He does have the link, so we should see him shortly. I think some of the other brothers will be on here as well. And we're just gonna get into it. And I'll let me show everybody how we got here. I'm just kind of waiting on the brother. I'm kind of just talk and just wait on the brother to get here. But this is a discussion on the validity of the Bible. Does God exist? And I that's why I want to wait on brother to get here, because I want to make sure I'm not twisting his words. We're definitely gonna get into some things. We're gonna get into some. He's gonna get questioned for sure. He's definitely gonna get questioned. I'm kind of just gonna hold my peace till he gets here, Lord willing. He gets here shortly. The brother does have the link though. He should be here, and other brothers who are in with me should join as well. Like and comment, share, subscribe. This should be a good one. The validity of the Bible and if God exists. And I got like 1,000 questions for this brother, and it is actually kind of asinine. He doesn't believe at least the fact that Jesus Christ existed. So hopefully the brother he does have the message. Hopefully I can see him here and I can pull him up and we can talk about his beliefs and why he doesn't believe Jesus Christ, so-called Jesus Christ, didn't exist. As always, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you share the video. Get this out to as many people as you know, especially people who don't believe in the Bible. Because even if the brother doesn't get on here, I'm still going to go over some stuff to emphatically prove that Jesus Christ did exist. I mean, but like I said, we're going to give the brother a few more minutes. Maybe he's doing something right now. But, let's see. Hopefully he believes that the Most High is indeed real. He's not gonna have a choice after this. If he doesn't believe it after this, I don't know what to say. I'm definitely gonna get into how we got here and how we got into this conversation and how we're gonna definitely get into how it got here, how we got to this point where we're on the channel. Hold on. Make sure I'm there still. We're going to talk about how we got into this situation. And all praise to the Most High at the end of the day. Like I said, the brother doesn't even get on here. I'll go over a few things to vehemently show the validity of the Bible, that it's real, that regardless of who you think he was, what kind of person he was, he did exist and he did walk this earth. So many historians, so many early historians, even if you want to use Paul's writings as the earliest historian to Jesus Christ, we definitely can use the book of Paul because he would be like the first historian. So the brother's got his hand full when he get on here, but we're going to hear the brother out because according to him, he said he's a God killer. I don't know what that means, but he said he's a God killer. He said I have the right one. So we're definitely going to see. And as always, all praise to the Most High. Just waiting on the brother to get on here. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and comment if it's on your heart. And if anybody's got any questions, you can ask the questions in the chat. We're just killing time. We're just waiting on the brother to get here. He's got the link, and other brothers will get on here as well. So, Lord willing, oh, he's on it. Here he is. Here he is. Okay, all praise to the Most High. That's right, King. That's right, King. All praise to the Most High. I can't. Oh, you gotta turn your. Unmute yourself, King. Unmute yourself.
Hey, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well, King. All praise
Okay.
to the Most High. What's going on,
Cool.
King?
Oh, not a whole lot. Give me about 5 seconds. Let me take care of some stuff.
You good? You good? Take your time. Take your time. And when that brother gets back, this is the brother that we're gonna have a conversation with. Uh, I'm actually gonna show everybody how we got here to this point. So, you know, all the brothers, don't no ad homs, nothing like that. Don't get an understanding. But he did say he was a God killer. So we're definitely gonna test that theory. All praise to the Most High. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and share this so y'all can understand how we got here and why we're here. Let's see. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna wait for the brother to get back on here, and then we'll go into why we're here. Shalom, shalom, God. Ephraim, he said, I can call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before life and death, blessing and curse, and therefore choose life, and that both thou shalt see that may live. I can't even speak. That may live. Deuteronomy 30:19. That's an excellent precept, King. And like I said, anybody feel free to comment, feel free to say what's on your heart. Uh, like I said, he'll be on here in a second. I got the rest of the other brothers who's gonna be here. Uh, I know they said they're gonna be here short. I think they said it. They might have thought I said 7:30, but I did not. Uh, but you just gotta unmute yourself, King.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, King. How about yourself?
Man, I'm all right. I'm all right. Never had a bad day. How you doing?
Okay, yeah, all praise. Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and your background and whatever handles you have. Please put them out there if you got things going on. Just present yourself and what you believe in, and then I'm going to show people how we got here. So I'm gonna
Okay.
let
My
you
name is
go
my
ahead.
name is Chris. Everybody else calls me Chris, and it's fine with that. The handles and that I haven't got all that yet. Um, how I got here? I used to be a Christian. Used to be a Christian for a majority of my life. Um, But I since discovered some things after studying the Bible that didn't quite make sense, and after doing some research, doing some studying, I came to the conclusion. Why did I come to the conclusion? I realized that I didn't believe anymore. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't something that I actively decided to do. It was something that happened. It's like one day you stop believing in Santa Claus. You just don't believe that it's real anymore. Um, and I'm an atheist. I'm not convinced that a God exists. I'm gonna say that.
So
But
you're not
but
agnostic. I didn't mean to cut you off. So you're not agnostic. You don't believe in a higher power. You just don't think there's nothing at all. You think
I don't have a belief system.
okay.
I don't have a belief. I don't. I know things. If it's something that I either you either understand it. Take evolution for example. I don't believe in evolution. I understand evolution. I don't have a belief system. So
Okay.
when you say you believe in nothing, I'm not sure what you mean by nothing.
Well, I'm saying like in a sense, you don't believe there's a higher God. You don't believe there's a higher being that's controlling everything. You believe we're just existing, we're just here? You believe in the Big Bang theory? Like how did we get here as a human race? Or how did you get here?
How did I get there? Well, you asked a couple of questions. Hold on. How did I get here? Well, I accept Big Bang cosmology because there's evidence for it. Uh, I accept evolution because there's a model for it, natural selection, and it's been observed in labs. It's been recorded. It's not. I agree with the science. I agree with the science. Big Bang cosmology, you can see it, you can hear it, you have to be willing to put the work in. But Big Bang cosmology is a fact. There's no ifs ands and buts about it.
So you emphatically believe in the Big Bang theory that we just blew up and everything just was just in place. Like it was just a big bang and the earth was here and water and trees and animals and humans, all that.
That's not what the Big Bang says.
Okay, can you
It,
further elaborate?
it actually wasn't an explosion. It was more like an expansion. An expansion is what we're talking about.
Okay.
How do we know that? Because it's still expanding. You can measure this. You can measure the light. I'm not gonna get into red shifts and stuff like that. I'm not gonna get too technical, but we can measure light, how far away it is. We can see the origin of our current presentation of the universe. This isn't conjecture. You just have to be willing to do the research. You have to be willing to put the work in. It can be demonstrated. I mean, I don't know where you live at, but I'm in Knoxville, and it really don't matter where you are in the city. The University of Tennessee is 5 or 6 miles from anywhere. You can go to the cosmology department, and they'll show you the evidence, and you can test it for yourself, and you can draw your own conclusions. But you're going to draw the conclusion that everybody who understands how to interpret the evidence draws, because it's a fact.
Okay, so just so we're clear, and because you believe in those so-called facts, the Bible has no validity. The Bible's made up. The Bible's a story. Is I just want to know your position on the Bible.
But let me ask you something. If I tell you that I can outbox and whip any man that challenges me, I can outbox him and knock him out. If I tell you that, um, how many men have to beat me to make that statement false?
How many men would have to beat you to make that statement false?
Yeah.
If you're saying yourself you're the best, and how many people? I mean, I
If I
guess you
tell you
would,
I'm the
right?
best, if I tell you I'm the best fighter in the world,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, like, yeah. If I tell you I'm the best fighter in the world,
Mm-hmm.
how many people have to beat me to make that statement false?
I mean, that's loaded. I
It's
mean, some
one.
would say
One.
some could say one,
Yeah.
some could say one person,
Okay. If one person was
some could
not,
say five or six. But I would say, I mean, my personal answer would be one.
okay, yeah. Yeah, that's the only answer. If somebody beats me, then I'm not the best. That's just propositional logic. If somebody beats me, I'm not the best. If the Bible says, how many things do the Bible have to get wrong before you discredit it?
I mean, anything. I mean,
Okay, we're gonna
you
stick with
have
the
to be
one.
very,
Are we gonna
you
stick
have to
with
be very,
one?
go
We're gonna
ahead.
stick with one.
I mean, it depends. Go ahead. If that's how you feel,
Well,
I don't think the. Go
I
ahead.
gave you an analogy, and we agreed to the number one.
Well,
I'm
but you're
giving the
talking
same.
about in a fight. That's a false equivalency because the Bible is Latin for biblos, which is mean record and compile of books. So I'm not look. It's not
I,
nothing to be wrong in the Bible because it's just a record and compile and compilation of books. So there
is
be
it your, but you're some, what are you, a Christian, Hebrew
no.
Israelite? What are you?
Yes, I'm the Hebrew Israelite according to the Bible, according to prophecy, and according to God's chosen people. Brother, you would be an Israelite.
So everything in the Bible is true. Is that your position? Everything in the Bible is true. Is that your position?
As far as keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, yes.
Does the
Because like
Bible
I said,
say
I mean, because
does the
like I
Bible
said,
say it was does the Bible
there's
say it was
I'm
inspired
gonna
by
give I'm
God?
gonna give an example. I'm gonna give an example. For an example, in the KJV, you have Easter written there, but if you go into
Mhm.
the ancient language, it's supposed to be Passover. So there's things in the Bible that's written wrong. I can agree with, and you also got the Johannine comma added to it. So there's things that that shouldn't be there or said differently. So I don't have no arguments there. But as far as the Bible and the message and who He's coming back for, the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, that we only get salvation, the so-called Native Americans, Hispanics, and Black people, according to prophecy, that is all 100% true. Now, like I said, you can go and you can show me the Johannine Commons, you can show me Easter in the Bible, and I would have to, I'd have to back off of that because it shouldn't be there, especially if we go into the old language. So there's fallacies in there. I can agree with that.
So you agree that there's fallacies in the Bible?
I gave examples. Like I just gave an example of Easter being written there, and it should be Passover.
So the Bible's been so the Bible's been tampered with.
It's not tampered with because we can go into the old language and see the word. They just use a different word in the translation because it tells you in Isaiah 28. It says it. Let's just get it. Hold on, before I don't even want to use one word. And I appreciate you getting on here, King. Seriously, I really do.
Oh, it's a pleasure, brother. It's a pleasure.
I really do appreciate you getting on here. So,
Isaiah what?
I'm going to Isaiah 28, and I'm gonna start at 11. Well, I'll start at 9. I'll start at 9. It says, "To whom shall he teach knowledge?" Make sure you can see it on the screen. Okay, cool. To whom shall he teach knowledge? To whom shall he make understand doctrine? Those that are weaned from the milk, which is the truth. For precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Now here's the point of emphasis. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to his people. So, because a lot of us we speak English. So he has to have these translations so he can speak to his people. So that would be my answer to that. But I want to let people know how we got here before we go any further, because I see we're already jumping in, and that's fine. We can jump right on into
it. Yeah.
Right into it. I just want to let people know how we got here. So, and this is a good brother. I don't want nobody thinking me and his brother beef or anything. This is a good brother. Like I said, he was willing to have the faith, so you can't be mad at him. So they're not gonna let me read them. Okay, here we go. Okay, so can you see the screen? Can you see it? Can you see this on the screen?
I can see it.
Okay. All praise. And all praise to the Most High. Okay. So my brother Wes made a comment. He made a post saying, basically saying the LGBT AF, the LMNOP community, we'll just say the LOPMNO community is doomed. And that's basically what he's going into right here. So, and I believe you said, I understand. Well, hold on. Let's see. This is what you said. I understood you meant human families. This wasn't lost on me, but you believe homosexuality is a curse from God. So I'm asking, if it's a curse, why are non-human animals homosexual? Meanwhile, a man and woman and child is the natural order. So this is what the brother was going into. That's not in the Bible describes marriages, because you only need one wife if you're wanting to be a church leader, correct? So what did you mean by this, brother? Like, what was your point of emphasis right here when you said, I believe but you believe homosexuality is a curse from God? So what would you call it?
What would I call what?
What would you call being a homosexual? Would you call it a blessing? Oh, here's my brother right here. Here's another brother in the camp. This is Hezekiah right here.
Shalom.
He's in the camp with me. There's some other brothers tagging in.
Peace and blessings.
Willing. But yeah, I don't know how long you've been paying attention, Hezekiah, but we're just going into how we got here. And now I'm asking the brother what he feels about this.
Okay,
so I'll start from the top, and Hezekiah, you can jump in anytime you want. So this is how we got here, and then we're gonna get into the evidence and all the stuff, all the questions we want to ask you, because we don't get too many people who don't believe who are like you. So got some questions for you, Big King. Okay. But I want to know what you meant by this. You said, but you believe homosexuality is a curse from God. So I'm asking you, so what would you call homosexuality according to God?
According to God? According to the Bible?
According to you. What would you, I mean, because you're saying, I mean, I'm quoting you. What did you mean by this statement?
If you can scroll back up to the verse.
Okay, right here. I'm right here.
To the post, rather.
It's on the post. It's right here.
Go to West Post. Go to the actual post where he posted.
Okay.
Yeah, that right there.
Okay.
What's that describing? Start at verse 26.
Okay, for this cause, Yahweh will give them up to vile affections. For even
Okay. So vile affections.
Mhm.
Would that is that considered a curse?
I mean, no. It says
Okay, but
a vile
he
affection.
get okay, but hold on. After he gives them up to vile affections, it says, according to this book, the women change the natural use of that which is against nature.
Mm-hmm.
So God caused this, according to this verse. Verse 20, who gave them up to vile affections?
God.
Okay. And what did the vile affections cause them to do? What did the vile affections cause
Be,
women to do according to this verse that we're reading?
be wicked, unholy, unrighteous.
No.
But
Why
that's
don't
what
you
the answer is.
listen? Instead of giving your opinion what you think it did, why don't you read what it said it did? After vile affections, what's the rest of that verse? After Yahuwah gave them up to vile affections, what happened? Finish that verse.
It says, for even their women did change their natural use. So,
Isn't it talking about lesbianism?
huh?
Is that not talking about lesbianism to you?
It's talking about unrighteous, unholy relationships between men and women. And this is,
Okay,
he's
we'll go to
quoting
verse. What
something.
about verse 27? Since I don't know why you're making this difficult. Verse 27 says, likewise the men. So hold on. Whatever it says about the men, it means about the women too. And I'm
Yeah,
saying
because
it made them lesbians. But hold on.
right, but
Likewise, the
he's,
man, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men. That's homosexuality, correct?
correct.
Just like homosexuality in women, which I couldn't get you to agree was lesbianism. When Yahuwah gave them over to Yahuwah, according to this verse, which I don't believe it, I'm just reading your book. But according to this verse, Yahuwah gave them up to vile affections. And one of the symptoms of these vile affections was men started sleeping with men and women started sleeping with women. So far, tell me where I'm wrong, or have I misinterpreted that?
Well, do you understand he's quoting Leviticus 20 and 13, right?
Is it not inspired by God?
No, but I'm saying he's quoting something. Like, he didn't just come up with this. He's quoting, because you got to understand, he didn't have the book of Romans out there. So what books did he have to come?
What I'm telling you is,
Wait. What books did he have to come up with this? Right? Where did he pull this from?
I'm telling you that I don't believe this is real, and you're asking me to you're asking me to prove something that I don't think. It's like asking you to prove
No,
where the
I'm not.
tooth fairy went when she left.
You're trying to make a stand down point on this verse, and I'm explaining to you that this is he had to pull this from something. He didn't
Okay,
write this.
if
This isn't the
somebody
law. The book of Romans isn't the law. The book of
I
Romans
understand
isn't the
that.
Torah.
I understand that.
So he's quoting this from somewhere else, and he's rewriting it. But let's get you want to get the original writing where he's quoting it from, and let's read it from there.
No, that's unnecessary. What I'm saying, if somebody who never read this book read this verse right here that you presented, and they read men burned in their lust, one men being with men. I understand the Bible wasn't written in English, but what I'm telling you, anybody reading this verse would assume this is talking about homosexuality in men and lesbianism in women. That's just a plain face reading of this verse. We don't need no interpretations.
We agree.
Okay. So why don't you tell me what verse 27 means? Just a plain face reading of verse 27. If that's not talking about homosexuality, what is it talking about?
No, we agree.
He just agreed with that.
We agree.
We agree. Okay.
We agree.
So if we're talking about homosexuality, at the beginning of verse 27, it says, and likewise, which is tying verse 26 into it. So the same thing that happened to the women, likewise happened to the men. Okay. This happened after Yahuwah gave them vile affections.
He gave them.
He didn't. That's what I was about to say. He didn't say he gave them vile affections. He basically was holding them back. The law and his righteousness was keeping them from doing that vile affection, and he just did this. He lifted his hands and like, oh, you do what you want to do what you want to do. Go ahead. There you go.
So you telling me that without the law, you guys would resort to homosexuality.
No, hold on. What he's saying is these people keep breaking the law. So the Most High, you know, hold on. You know, the Most High is just saying, okay, if you want to keep doing that, the hell with you. I give you up into it. That's like the same thing. If you got a child and he keeps doing the wrong thing, eventually you're going to say, all right, you got to learn on your own. It's the same principle.
Okay. You got to learn that the stove is hot by touching it.
Okay. But my point is, it appears from a plain face reading of this verse that one of the after effects of vile affections, however it mutated, was thought, well, that you want to do this anyway? Okay. Obviously, they wasn't doing this before they had the vile affections. After they got the vile affections, and we know who they got them from, they started participating in these wicked acts. My thing is, you disagree?
I disagree because
what do you disagree with?
I'm disagreeing with how you're breaking it down because he's quoting of scripture. He's just reiterating the scripture. He's not saying, and we broke it down for you. He's saying he's giving you up into your vile affections, not that he gave you into vile affections. He's giving you up into it, meaning you were doing it. And
so you're saying
he just gave you on the way.
You're saying they were homosexual to begin with.
The Bible's saying that.
The Bible's saying they homosexual, but
yes,
it's your position is true. So
the Bible says it says Yahweh gave them up into their vile. If you give up, that means you were participating, right? If I give up on you, that means I was trying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's what it's saying.
I got an analogy for you.
Go ahead.
It's like this. It's saying that two people are about to fight. One's trying to get to the other one, and then he just like this. You're holding him back. Yahweh's holding them back. And then he said, and then he started say that the person you're holding back try to cuss you out. You're like, cuss me? I'm trying to help you. Fine. He just let them go to it. He wasn't no longer protecting them from that or keeping them from the temptations of their own flesh. They had that in them and they gave up. He let them go, and that's what they fell into.
Okay, I understand where both of y'all coming from. Okay, I understand. Where did this nature come from?
God.
No, I mean their original sinful nature. How did that happen?
God gave him. You gotta understand. God.
I understand. God gave him up to them, but I'm saying the people, when they started acting wicked, but where God was holding them back, why was He holding them back to begin with? That's what I'm curious about.
Because that's part of redemption. You have a chance to come back to the Lord. Just like, for an example, when Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah, which we're going to get into here in a little bit, the angels that were sit down. Why did He send those angels down there to Lot? And He told him, "Hey, if there's one person in this city, I'll save this city." Why did He say all that? He knew that city was in filth. He knew that city was doing all types of the same stuff that's going on here in America. But He still sent angels down to give them a chance to redemption. It's the same measurement. The Old Testament and the New Testament are the same thing. There's nothing different. You're not gonna. The Old Testament. The New Testament.
What do they need to be redeemed from? What is Sodom and Gomorrah?
They're not keeping the laws of God. That's the whole reason we're in the hellhole that we're in right now as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because we don't want to keep the laws of God. We want to do our own thing. That's why we're the tail in this nation right now. That's why we're going through. That's why we got put on slave ships. That's why we got put in bondage. What's your last name, King?
Young.
What is it?
Young.
Young. Okay. Young. That goes back to a white family.
Mm-hmm.
That's a curse.
Mm-hmm.
That's a curse. Your name's a curse.
Mm-hmm.
So why did that happen?
Because of slavery.
Okay, so why did this particular group of people? This didn't happen to no one else. You can't go to no white people and they got Mbaknu last names. You can't go to no Chinese people and they got French last names. It's only on the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Why is that?
What do you attribute it to?
I contribute it to us. Not the Most High says, if we do not keep His laws, statutes, and commandments, we would be cursed. That's why it's in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Let's just read it because I don't want to use my words. I want people to understand.
Okay.
Because you gotta understand, God has a chosen people. And Hezekiah, if you got anything, bring it out, King.
Oh, I was about to say, you need me to read for you.
If you want to read 28 and 1 and then verse 15. And if you want to go into
Gotcha.
some of the curses, that's up to you. You got it.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. And it says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now listen, he's not talking to everybody, Chris. He's talking to a specific group of people. Hold on, before you keep reading, King, I'm gonna let me read this right quick.
Okay.
Before you keep going, hold on, and then you can pick up right there. I want you to hear this, King. This is Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. Holy in the Hebrew is kodash. It means separate. And to the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God is possessive. Have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. God has a favorite people above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Right. God said the Israelites, whoever you think they may be, are above everyone on the planet Earth. So we're already dealing with a nationalistic God. He's not for everyone. We're reading right now. He's only for the Israelites, and he puts us above everyone else. You follow me so far, King?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's funny how you pull up a verse and do a plain face reading and say, "See, here we go. That's what it means." But I couldn't get you to admit.
I agreed with you, King.
Yeah,
I agree with everything you said. You just was stuck on the vile affection part, and I was trying to explain to you that it just means they were already doing it. He didn't just give it to him. They weren't just sitting there and then, oh, I'm gonna make you a homosexual. No, they were clearly doing it. That's why he gave them up into it. Me and Hezekiah both agreed with you.
Do you know what a primary source is?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what you're reading? Is that written from a primary source?
Of course. Why would it not be?
Do we have any of the original manuscripts?
Yes, we do. We got the Greek Septuagint. We got the Dead Sea Scrolls. There's a plethora of places with the original writing on it.
Yeah. Okay. So and same thing for the New Testament. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the New Testament is the Old Testament.
You
gotta understand when you go to the. Go ahead, Hezekiah. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
No, I was just agreeing with you. It's kind of the same. You can't really One is just helping you understand some of the fulfillments that was spoken of in the first part. Somebody came together and decided they're gonna say Old and New Testament. That's just it's all the word or an inspired word of God.
And if you go into the old language, you'll never see New Testament or Old Testament. You don't see that phraseology. That was added. So let me go back to Deuteronomy 28 so we can go ahead, Hezekiah. I think you were at
I'll start it from the top just to make sure everybody follows along. Okay. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee high, or Salakia, set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So we're reading this again. We're reading that God has a specific group of people, and if they listen to his laws and keep his laws, he's going to put them above all nations on the earth. Now read verse 15, King.
Got you. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee.
No, all these blessings.
All these curses shall come upon thee.
So we're reading that if a certain group of people, no matter who you think they are, Chris, that they're going to be punished by God for not keeping his laws. And let me go down to let me just hold on. Verse, I think it's 46. It says, can you read verse 46, King Baba Kasha?
No, I got you. This is verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
So the Bible's saying we're going to be able to see these signs and wonders upon the seed of whoever the Israelites are forever. Mm-hmm. And Chris, you just told me you have a white person's last name. And that is one of the curses. Let's get the curse. You know what curse I'm wanting, Hezekiah?
Is that a curse or is that colonization?
The same thing. What's the difference?
And curse.
Colonization was because armies lost a battle. That had nothing to do with What happened with the Ethiopians or the Haitians when they withstood the French, they weren't colonized, but are they still? So how did they escape the curse? If that's a curse, it just seems like
Who wasn't colonized?
Haitians wasn't colonized.
Haitians are not. Haitians are part of the Israelites. They were colonized. Haitians aren't. They're not. Where do you find the term Haitian in the Bible?
Where do I find the term Haitian in the Bible?
Yeah.
The word I'm not sure the word Haitian is in the Bible or not. Are you saying
Well,
it
then
is?
they're cursed then because they're not called by their God-given name.
And what's their God-given name?
They're the Levites. They're the Levitical priests.
And
You're the Jews. I'm just assuming your dad's a so-called African American.
Yeah, American.
Yeah, so you
American
would be
African,
a
yeah.
Jew from the tribe of Judah. So you would be a Judite. They're Levites. The Haitians are Levites. You won't find the term African American, Jamaican, any of those terms. They're not in the Bible. So what was God calling us before we got these names put on us?
Also, just to add in there, you said that the Haitians weren't colonized, but didn't they have to fight the French for their freedom?
Yeah.
What would you call that?
Hold on, let me make sure I'm right on my history.
You good?
Okay.
Yeah, let me make sure I'm right on my history. Maybe the wrong one.
Yeah, because to my understanding, the Haitians they have one of the biggest revolts outside of the Americas when it comes to that, because they fought the French off for their freedom. I think they
Well,
had
actually,
their,
yeah. Actually, I recant that. It wasn't Haiti.
Okay.
It wasn't Haiti. Haiti was actually the wrong statement.
Oh, no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, no problem.
No problem.
But
problem.
go back up to that. Go back up to that first verse that you started reading about when you hear the voice of the Lord at the beginning of Deuteronomy that you had highlighted.
28 and 1.
Well, yeah, that works
You
too.
just need it read.
Yeah, just that first verse.
Okay. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Okay, is it? How can you? Let me ask you this: is it possible for somebody to think that they're hearing the voice of the Lord and they're not? Is that possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What method can we use to tell the difference between someone who is hearing the voice of the Lord and someone who thinks they're hearing the voice of the Lord,
By
but
them
they
keeping
aren't?
the laws of God.
Mm-hmm.
If it's anything contrary to the laws of the Torah, then we know God's not talking to them. If they come to me and say, "Hey, brother, God told me that you can eat pork. You ain't gotta wear ZZs," I know they're full of caca. Because the Torah says emphatically we have to do those things. And that's the part of the reasons we got cursed. That's part of the reasons. And I'm gonna hammer down on that. This is verse 37 because I want to hearken on the fact that your last name is Young and my last name's Chandler. I don't come from an English family of candlestick makers. That's right. History. And Hezekiah, what's your last name?
Conley. It's Irish.
Where does that come from?
Oh, it's Irish. Comes from the Irish slave masters that enslaved my people.
And let's show that in the Bible, because not only do we have history with ourselves in our own names, but it's also written as one of the curses that would be on God's people. This is verse 30. This is verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, because this is an astonishment, Chris, to see the black man in the state of mind that they're in. And it's an astonishment to see us not knowing who we are as a people. It is an astonishment to see us on drugs in the street, killing and shooting each other over flags and street corners. That's an astonishment, because what we come from is royalty, Chris. A proverb,
I understand that.
A proverb and a byword, nigga, coon, porch monkey. You don't see that on these other nations. You don't see, like, we can go anywhere in the world. They have a name for you, Chris. You go to China, they're going to call you a nigga. You go to Russia, they're going to call you a nigga. You go anywhere on this earth, you have a word that's placed on you. Among all nations, anywhere you go, whether the Lord shall lead thee. And on top of that, you have a different last name than what your God-given last name. I'm sure if we go into the history of Young, it sounds like an English last name. I'm sure you know about your
it's English, English, yes.
It's English. So what is so what you know more about the last name and who it go where it
A
goes to?
little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit.
Okay. All praise to the Most High. So again, we can see the Bible. We can see just on us. We can see how this scriptures hold weight and how this Bible is holding true. Because you can't, like I said, you can't name another group of people that's going through what me and you are going through. Our people as a whole, what we're going through. Like the Bible literally depicts us leaving enslaved ships. You can't show me a. Can you read verse 68, King?
I got you. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way thereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Now, the Bible has been saying that these people are going to get brought here in ships. Now, the only group of people that we know this happened to is the Hispanics, because that's why they're called Hispanic, because they're property of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
You got Latinos, which means I want to say Latinos mean it's property of Rome. They're a part of because that's where the Latin language came from. And then you got us who shouldn't have them names at all.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're getting into is we're seeing these curses live out in real time. So what I'm showing to you in verse 68 is you can't show me another nation that went on slave ships besides us that were taken far away and they have not seen their homeland again. We've been brought here and we never went back. Can we at least agree to that, Mr. Young?
I'm not sure who we're about here. I'm under the claim that we were here. We're indigenous to this country.
We understand.
Some of us are.
If you want to speak on that, if you want to speak on that part right there.
No, I was just about to say, like, some of us are indigenous to this land
Mhm.
because we came here and settled before the transatlantic slave trade.
John, that's what I was going to bring out. I knew the brothers were going to bring it out. That's where you got the tribe of Gad. But remember, there's 12 tribes of the children of Israel, and that's how. And if you go back in history, that's how Christopher Columbus knew to come here, because he read in the Bible that there was people here in the fourth land.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Go ahead. You good, King? You good? So he knew to travel out because he knew people were there because of the Bible. So now he says, they shall not see it no more again. But I do agree, some of us were here. That's why they got conquered and they got shipped out to all the areas in Spain. So I'm with you right there. And there you shall be sold. What happened to us when we got here on slave ships? Because I mean, we can look at the movie Roots, 12 Years a Slave. There's so many movies that depict the history of how we got here.
This has been going on since this was written. That's the problem. You're retrojecting us into this, and you're basing all of this off of these scriptures that you can say, hey, this is black people, but this has been going on for the slave trade was 400 years, and then you have the trans-Saharan slave trade. It goes way back, way before European colonialism. It goes back to Arab imperialism. It's a lot. This has been going on. You could have went back. You can go back 2,000 years, and this verse, and you can. The same people can say the same thing about this. There's nothing new or enlightening about you will be slaves in the future, and you'll be bought by ships. Well, that was the main mode of transportation to them back then. Why wouldn't it say anything else? Well, it wouldn't say airplanes, it wouldn't say helicopters, it would say ships. This is you retrojecting who you think you are into this passage that you really have no reason to believe is true. Because
Okay, now I got a question.
Yeah, after you, I have something to say.
So what you're saying is like this is like this. There's other people that went through this. Can you name them? Can you name another group of people that this happened to?
Well, when you say black people, the natural color of human is a dark person. So when you say black people, you say it like we're a monolith. There are other people who don't consider themselves black, but you would. They may call themselves Hausa or Mandingo or Ifa. You know, they wouldn't call themselves black. When you say black people, what are the black people this happened to?
Well, I only say that because so people understand where I'm coming from. If I say, oh, the Israelites, some brothers may, I know you know what I'm saying, but other brothers who hear this may not know. So that's the only reason I'm using that phraseology, so everybody can be understanding. But I'm asking you, so you're trying to make this like this happened to a lot of people. I'm asking you just a name another nation besides blacks and Hispanics that this happened to. That a group of people came from way out of the way and came and brought them to a whole nother land, and they have not been back to their homeland.
But Africa is a huge continent. You know, you say another people, and then you start saying except these people. We were all the same people. Is what I'm
Who's
telling you.
we? Who's we?
Slavery is a human endeavor. This thing has been going
Okay.
on since as far back as we can remember. There's been human dominating human. This isn't just
Okay.
exclusive to American Africans or the diaspora. Is what I'm telling you to. What I'm trying to explain. You're acting like this is. I don't know. First of all, the Bible is the claim. The Bible makes a bunch of claims. The Lord
Mm.
said, I'm going to do this. The Lord said, I will do this. Jesus walked on water. Jesus fed fish. You're using the Bible as evidence when the Bible it is a claim. There are other books that make prophecies, so-called prophecies about the condition of the black race, about the condition of the white race. But you don't give you don't turn your microscope toward them like toward your own like you do toward them. I don't know how you discredited the God of the Quran. I
Okay,
don't know.
I'm gonna
I don't.
ask you one more time because I don't think you understood my
Yeah.
question. And then
Yeah.
Hezekiah, you can let me back. I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask again. What name another group of people who went on slave ships and never returned to their homeland? Can
There's a
you do
that
that? Yes or no?
no, but that don't
Okay, then. All
but
right.
that don't mean it didn't happen.
We know that,
Whether I
brother.
can name them or
We
not
know.
is irrelevant. Whether I can name all the species of how many butterflies there are is irrelevant to if there are many species of butterflies. That's a red herring. You
But
know that
then,
Okay,
that's
at, but
irrelevant.
but then at that point, you can't disprove what he's saying. You're just going off of your thought that well, I can't, I don't know it, so it means that it might not happen. It could happen to anybody else. But I would think it would be easy to name a whole nation of people that went on ships and then didn't go back to their land. I
When
don't I can't name any other nation, and I love history. I love looking into things, and I don't know that.
when this was written, ships was the main way to travel.
no,
So
we
Well,
understand
not
that.
well
yeah.
actually, well actually, if you know anything about the slave trade, that was the sub-Saharan trade, slave trade. They didn't use ships. They walked people across the desert. It was even so bad that so many people died on the way that if they you couldn't get lost on your way back to their lands because there were the dead bodies, the bones that laid on the roads, and that's how they knew where they were going.
So
Because
you're saying the victims of the sub-Saharan slave trade is excluded from the curse because this verse specifically says ships and they didn't use ships.
no, I'm
They
saying
were
you
enslaved for another reason.
no, listen to what I'm saying. You made the claim that okay, it ships because they moved a lot of people by ships. That was
Yeah.
their mode of transportation. My counter to that is no. They moved people on feet with yokes around their neck across the desert. They walked them across there, and that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm refuting that you're saying. You said they moved all these people because that's how they did it. They moved them with ships. No, they walked people. Why would you need a ship across Africa to the other continent? They could just walk it. You literally
I
they're
didn't. I'm
connected.
not the one that brought up ships. The verse that you guys
No,
were reading
I'm
brought
not
up
talking.
ships. So that's
I'm
why I asked you
addressing your point.
if
That's
part
what
of
I'm
the
saying.
curse, yeah, if part
I'm
of the
addressing your
curse was
point.
to be transported in ships,
Hmm.
and you're acknowledging that there were other slave trade that didn't use ships. I'm asking you, are they absolved from this particular one? If God says part of your punishment is to be taken on ships away from your land, and you're saying there were people taken away from their land that didn't go on ships, are they not part of this? Because what it looks like is slavery just happens, whether it's on in ships
Well,
or whether it's not
slavery
in
happened.
ships. It looks like slavery just happens, and this you just
Slavery
said
was
how you're gonna
happening
do slavery
before
in
the
ships. Slavery
slavery
was
was
happening.
written. Well, slavery was happening But and then we wrote a law about slavery because it was already how to handle slavery. It doesn't say now go into the land, grab these people, and make them slaves.
But it
There
does
was
say that.
slavery was already
But it
no,
does say that in
no.
Exodus 21, God gives rules on who you can own, how long you can own them.
You understand? Did that say go to the other land, make the people slaves, and this is how to deal with them?
Actually,
Or
it
if you
does.
understand, if you have an understanding of the ancient Near East culture, you'll understand that slavery was going on before Israel was instituted as a people.
Under whose watch?
That the
When
whole ancient Near East,
yeah,
Egypt, Egypt,
when the Bible says buy your
Egyptians,
slaves, when the Bible says buy your slaves from the heathen nations that surround you, is that I mean,
you kind of proving my point. That means the other nations had slaves before Israel. Because how would we buy them if there was none? You see my point?
who's yeah, I see your point. I don't think you're seeing
Okay.
mine.
Okay. Repeat it for me so I can understand it.
Who said slavery is okay? Who
Who?
condones slavery?
God.
Okay,
The people who made the people slaves. They
okay,
condoned it.
okay. So God condoned slavery way before this because
God
he gave laws
God
on it.
said God basically was like, y'all wilding down there, y'all doing whatever. I'm gonna grab a people and I'm gonna teach them rules to these things that are already happening. That's
Really?
how that worked.
And to let me back off here.
Were people already eating shrimp?
Hold on, wait. And to let me
I,
back off
Hold
here.
on, let me address it real quick. Were people
Go ahead.
already eating shrimp?
I don't know if shrimp is in that in the land at that
Did
time or
God
in that
ban
area.
shrimp? Did God ban shrimp?
He didn't say shrimp in particular.
Okay, did God ban pork?
Yeah,
Were people already eating pork?
yeah. The
Why did he
Egyptians were
just
eating
give
pork.
them rules on how to cook the pork? I mean, instead of banning slavery, he gave
That
them rules on how to treat your slaves and how to buy them and where to buy them, how long to keep them, and different rules for Hebrew slaves and non-Hebrew slaves, different rules for
that
women and men. When it
that's
came to pork, why wouldn't he say why wouldn't he just ban the slavery outright like he did pork? Instead of saying y'all wilding down there eating that pork, let me
This
show
is
you how
why.
to cook it. No,
I'm
he
gonna show
just
you why.
outright banned it. And I'm asking you why he couldn't do the same for slavery.
I'm gonna show you.
he could if he want. He can do anything he wants to.
No. Finish
Actually,
that. He could if he wanted to,
he
but he
could
didn't
do
want
whatever
to. Okay,
he could do.
okay.
He could do whatever he wants to because he's the
Yes,
creator of
but what did
everything.
he choose to do? He could have banned slavery, or he could have banned shrimp and pork. What did he choose to
What?
ban?
What?
That's the false
He could have
equivalency,
been.
and I'm gonna show you why.
That
That's the
Go ahead.
false equivalency.
that doesn't even correlate to the same thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does. We're talking about the slave trade.
You
You're saying this slavery. You're saying we are cursed, but before we were cursed, God was already condoning slavery and giving rules on it. So the
No,
way God,
God was not condoning slavery. God said, "Hey, y'all down there doing whatever y'all want." Just right before the flood, people were doing whatever the heck, and then he's like, y'all too wicked. I gotta get rid of y'all and start over."
so you
That's how that.
saying, are you
And
saying
then
that
he was
God,
like,
is it your position God doesn't condone slavery? There
I
are
got you. This
rules.
is why, hey, elder. This is why. This is Deuteronomy 32:8. When the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, right?
Uh-huh.
When he separated the sons of Adam, because every nation comes from Adam. Can we at least agree on that?
I'll agree with it for
Okay.
the sake of this argument. Yeah.
All praise to the
yeah,
Most High. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. God made all these nations to serve us. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, all these people that are not Israelites, God literally made them to serve us.
So you're just talking about slavery still, right?
Yeah, because you're not understanding why because you asked why didn't he just outban it like he did pork? No, because these people were made to be subjugated and under us. Any person that's not an Israelite is made to serve us. That's
And
he
you
why
chose
asked
it.
me,
outban
hold on.
slavery and do what
You're
we're
sitting here on live YouTube saying that everybody that's not you was made to serve you. Yet on that same post you pulled up, you questioned my moral compass.
Yeah, because you don't
But
believe
you
in
think
God.
everybody was made to serve you, and you say I don't
Yes.
have a moral
The
compass.
Bible
Hold
says
on,
that. I
hold on.
don't say that. The Bible says
Let
that.
me, hold on just for a moment. And I think
That's where you get your
you
moral
don't
compass from. A book that
hold
says
on.
everybody serves
Hold
you.
on. Hold on just for a moment, King. This is the understanding, because what you don't understand, you think that God just said y'all can be wicked and evil and then you still rule over people. No, he set us apart, made us holy, gave us a law of the things that are right and just, and just because we have that, we get the right to rule over people because we will be righteous. That's why it says that when the wicked in rule, the people mourn, because that's what the people are doing now. Because the kings that America has set over them is wicked, and the people are mourning. We don't like it here. But when we're in righteousness, when we have a king, Yahweh Shai, and then he sets us up as his people, the people will be in righteousness and they will rejoice. They will be
Okay.
happy to be under us.
Two things you just said. I'm see if I can remember both of them. The first thing you said is his laws are righteous and just.
Right. No,
What
well,
does just
that's true.
what does just mean to you?
Perfection.
Right.
Perfection.
I guess you would
And
say
what's righteous
kind of
means?
like righteous.
Yeah,
It's like to explain righteous, I would say like goodly.
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 One of the 613 mitzvah is that if a woman is raped, she has
Mhm.
to marry her rapist because her father thinks he's
No.
worth.
No.
Uh,
No.
that's actually it's
Can
actually
you
in Deuteronomy.
Where?
give us the
If a
verse? Give
Give
us
us
the
the verse.
verse. Because I think this is problem with translation sometimes. Translations don't give you the right understanding, because there's a law about if a woman is raped and she screams out, and like it's the dude has to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be killed. It ain't no he
Yeah,
gets to
marry
still
her and
keep her.
take her.
No, that's not how that works. That's why I say
what if she don't scream loud enough? Then what happens?
It's not
wh-
rape.
there's no such thing as not screaming loud enough. It's
Uh,
basically if she does not accept you sleeping with her, that's rape.
okay, it's in Deuteronomy. You guys in Deuteronomy
Yeah.
22.
Deuteronomy 22
Hold
and
on,
what?
before we get there, I just
Oh,
want to read
go
this.
ahead.
This is Ecclesiastes 17 and 17. For the division of the nations of the whole earth, he
Mhm.
set a ruler over every people. So God set rulers over all these other nations.
Uh-huh.
He's not the ruler he's not the ruler of these other nations. He's the ruler of us.
You're
Mhm.
He
correct.
said, but Israel is the Lord's portion. We're the Lord's portion, like the
Now
That's a
hold
good
Israelites.
on.
precept.
Talk
Hold
about the
on.
That's a
Israelites.
good
Hold
precept.
on.
Hold on.
Oh,
Wait.
yeah.
Hold on. Wait. The Israelites are the Lord's portion. That's why we're getting punished, and these other nations are able to do what they want to do, eat pork, do whatever they want. We're the only ones getting punished for it because we're the Lord's portion. And at the end of this thing, all these nations are going to be serving us. You don't want rulership, brother. You don't want to rule these nations like they rule you, brother.
Uh,
What that?
Don't
do
sound
I?
like
No,
it.
I don't want to rule anything. I don't want
Well,
to
you
rule
don't want that.
anything.
That's what God has for his Israel. That's what God has for his people to be rulers over these other nations.
Yeah, if you're not ruling, you basically a servant.
Well,
So you want to be a
hold on a
ruler
minute.
or a servant, King?
Before you lose that verse, I want to I want to look up something that I want to look up something about that because I
Yep,
think you misinterpreted that verse.
that's right,
Um,
Gabar.
What verse? The verse I just read?
yeah, that Ecclesiastes, just keep it right there.
Hold on. I
Hmm.
misinterpreted. It's plain, brother.
He just read it. He
I just
literally
read it.
read
I
it
didn't even
word
give
for
my
word.
interpretation. I just read it.
Okay, according to the Bible, if you go by the precept upon precept, there's according to the Canaanite pantheon, El is the supreme God, and Yahweh is one of the lower gods. Now, according to this verse right here, if what the Canaanites pantheon is true, he said a ruler, like you said, over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
there are other I guess nations that have other gods, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
I can
Yeah.
prove it. I can
there's a
prove it.
story in the Bible, the story of Naaman. Trying to think where it's at, but we can find it if you need it. But the story of Naaman, where he needed the Lord's protection going to another nation, but he couldn't get it because the Lord couldn't do any miracles in another nation because he wasn't the God over that nation. So he took 2 bags of dirt and put it on his donkey where he could spread it out and then have the Lord perform miracles as he stand on the dirt. So this looks like then there's stories in the Bible where where Yahweh was defeated by Chemosh because the Israelite army was advancing and then was advancing against the Moabites, and then the Moabite king went and prayed to Chemosh, and then the Bible says then Chemosh and his army overtook Yahweh and his army in the Bible. So it appears
You
that if
got
the
you
Lord is
got to
not
give.
over
I
Israel, he
need that.
has no power.
I need the book, chapter, and verse for that.
Okay, yeah, okay, hold on.
We can visit that, even though we're kind of moving around.
Yeah, I know, but I just brought something to my attention because there's a
Yeah, but
story
hold
where
on
the
before
Lord.
you go there. I need you to make your point about the raping women thing. I need you to.
Yeah, we
Oh,
in
Deuteronomy
Deuteronomy.
22. Deuteronomy 22.
I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
Deuteronomy 22 and what? Let me pull that up. Deuteronomy 22 and what?
Start at verse 28. And we're going to read it word for word like we're in the 3rd grade. We're not going to say, well, what this means is, and if you put this word here, then it really means we're just going to read it word for word what it says. Deuteronomy
All right.
22, 28.
All right,
So
I'll read it.
22? Oh, 22 and 28.
Yeah, I'm there already because I already
Okay,
knew
go
where we're
ahead.
going. This is Deuteronomy 22 and
Read
28.
from 27 though.
Kind. All right, this is Deuteronomy 22 and 27. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. Because if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lie with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he have humbled her. He may not put her away all his days.
Okay, let's stop.
Mhm.
According to this verse, and 27 is talking about a different situation where somebody cries out.
Okay.
And nobody was there to save her. And verse 27 ends with there was none to save her. But verse 28 ends with and they were found. So we're talking about when you put 27 and 28, you kind of muddy in the water because you're making it seem like no, in verse 27, nobody found them. In verse 28, it says, and they be found. Now, the father is not even going to want his daughter back because women were only property according to the Bible. They were only property, and if they were virgins, if they weren't virgins, they were damaged goods. So this says he shall pay 50 shekels, and she shall be his wife. And then it tells you why she shall be his wife, because he's humbled her, and he may not put her away all of his days. Now, if you interpret that to mean something different, I'm all ears,
Well,
because that's one of the goodly righteous
we're gonna read it in
laws.
a different translation because where I think you're struggling at is it sounds like you're a KJV onlyist. So we're gonna read it in different translations because, like Hezekiah mentioned earlier, like translations can lead to this kind of thought process.
I'm
So
reading it from the Blue Letter Bible with the interlinear of the
okay,
original language. So whatever version you can use, I got the original language in front
that's
of me.
fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna read verse 25 in the NLT. But if the man finds a girl in the field who is promised in marriage and makes her lie with them, then only the man who lies with her will die. Do nothing to the girl. So what is this? Hold on. What do you mean will die? What does this will die part mean? I thought you said if he lays with her, he's gonna be that's his wife.
You're in verse 25.
Yeah, I'm giving you context.
We're talking about a woman who was betrothed in verse 25. In verse 28, the woman is not betrothed.
No,
She's a
but here's your
virgin.
point. Your point you made was that if a man just lies with her, that's his wife. And we're reading right here. If a man does that, he's going to be killed. So you're wrong. That's why I went here.
Are you really gonna split hers?
No,
We're talking about two different
you
situations.
made a claim, brother, that if a brother just lays down with a wife, all he has to do is pay some money. That's the claim you made. But we're reading right here. If he lies with her, he will die. He
Okay,
just takes it.
Yeah.
So that's
if
contrary to
she's
what you
betrothed,
said, brother.
it's like 27. It's this situation is different than that situation because in verse 25, he's talking about a woman who was betrothed. In verse 27, they're talking about if no one finds them. In verse 28, which is the verse I specifically told you to go to, that's the verse we should that's the verse we
Hey,
should
kind of
read.
yelling.
A woman that's not betrothed and people do
Can I
find
share a
them.
screen?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got it. How do I make you? How do I
I
let you
I
do that?
I can pull it up.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It'll just take that off. And
Okay, go ahead.
this might help you out a little bit, Elder, on this part because I the understanding you have is a little different than what I have, and the same I would say for my brother. There is actually a page. Let me see. If I can find it. I got too many things open. I wanted to show for the other one. I'll just close these out real quick. Hold on.
You got to do your thing.
Let me cancel this because the problem is you don't you have a misunderstanding of what that means when it says to lay hold on her.
Yeah.
What I want to do is bring up the actual Hebrew for it. Dang, it is not let me bring this up. Kanayala,
Do I
can
need to
you do
take?
something? Can you do something? Oh no, you're fine. Can you do something for me? Can you open another tab on
Tapas
your
is the word you're
on your
looking for.
screen? Oh,
Okay.
I know what I'm looking for, and I know the
Yeah.
definition I'm looking for as
Yeah,
well,
it's the
and the
past.
understanding of it. All right. So, do you know the context of the word and how it's used?
Yes, because there are other instances where that word is used in other verses of arise, lift up the lad, and lay hold on
I'm
him
just
in
gonna
thine
close all these
hand.
windows.
After that, his brother came out and he took hold of Esau's heel. Exodus, people may go that they may hold a fasten to me,
Oh, got
or
it.
if I refuse, let them go. So the context is to physically grab. The context, according to everywhere else, is used in that sense. In the Hebrew word in Genesis 19, Genesis 21, Genesis 25, Exodus 5, 9, 10, 14. Every other word, it means to physically grab, to pass, T-A-P-A-S. It means to physically grab. And I
And
have the
and
interlinear
I'm
right
I'm
here.
about to give you a little more little more insight, a little more information on that. So we're gonna read this right here. I'm not
Okay.
sure how well you can see that. It says right here. This is the blue letter. This isn't the blue letter Bible. This is Bible Hub. So I clicked on that word, and then when you read down into it, it says in a broader sense to imply the act of wielding or using something as wielding a weapon or a tool. This usage underscores the concept of control and authority, whether in a physical or a metaphorical sense. The term can also carry a negative connotation when it involves using something unwarrantably or unjustly, highlighting the potential for misuse of power or influence. So
Yes, I agree
it's
with
not
that.
saying
Yes.
so. Oh, hold on, just for a moment. So it's not saying he grabbed her and was like, "Let me take you." He influenced her to sleep with her. Because if you remember what you said, women were possessions of the father. So the father would have had to gave permission for him to have her. So she was taken unjustly by his influence, and that's why he has to pay for it.
The point is,
Not that she didn't want to sleep with him. She did it she did it without her father giving approval.
she was raped.
Nope. That does this say anywhere for rape? Because there's definitely he read a whole verse that shows you what rape actually is. He took her, she screamed out, and now they gotta be killed. Now the man has to be killed. So are you saying that there's two verses for the same thing but two different rules?
Okay, how do you think? Do you think that back then these ancient Israelites? Do you think they had interlinears? Do you think they were even literate? Do you think when
What does
do
that
you
have to
think
do with what
do
I'm
you think when
saying?
okay, well, do you think when Moses told them kill everybody, but keep all the young girls for your spoils. Do you think they sat there and thought about, well, do you think when he said, hey, if you meet a woman and grab her and influence her, do you think that they took that? What's more likely? That they took that as permission to go rape a woman, or they said, well, I'm going to see if I can influence her, and if she, what do you think most
Well,
likely
actually,
happened in those times?
well, you're just superimposing that thought into the Bible, which you were try to say my brother did earlier when he gave you
No,
the breakdown of Ecclesiastes 17 and 17. You're
no,
putting a
no.
whole no, you're putting a whole thought into there that isn't there, and you just read it said unjustly highlighting the potential for misuse of power or influence. Not I punched her in the back of her head. She got woozy, and now I just took her. Why does none of this read in here grape? Why doesn't that say grape anywhere?
Every word that's used in this definition you give negates someone's free will. If you unwarrantedly grab somebody or unjustly grab somebody, you are
Does that say
violating that
grab?
person's free will.
Did that read
Unjustly or
grab
unwarrantedly,
anywhere? Does it
it,
say grab?
it,
Or
it
did
also
it
says
say
it
potential
also
for misuse of power or influence? Because a man's daughter is his possession. Still to this day, the concept exists in America because the father gives away the bride because she's the possession of him. That still stands
it
in
just said
place.
it said a misuse of power. Then it said even using a
Or
weapon or tool.
or
Yeah,
influence.
yeah.
He
So we're
basic
talking.
he
Yeah, so we're
basically talked her out of her drawers, and then the father found out about it, and now he got to pay the bride price.
Do you think it's more
That's what
likely
that
he
is.
talked her out of her drawers, or do you think it's more likely he strong armed her
It's
and
more it's
overtook
more
her?
likely that the sun's gonna shine in July, and there's not gonna be a cloudy day, but it don't. But that doesn't make equal exactly that. You're adding to what you want to make out of the text.
Okay, so let me get something straight about this Yahweh or Yahuwah, whichever, however y'all call him. Do
Mhm.
you agree with me that
Shower, man.
do you agree with me that the Creator? Do you agree that the Creator has a task?
Oh, wait. So we're moving on from this
Whoa, whoa,
subject.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
No,
whoa.
Are
no,
we
no.
moving
Hold on.
on? Are you
No,
concede?
So so you're gonna
this is the reason
exactly.
for the
Do you concede?
confusion.
Hold on,
Yeah,
brother. Do you concede on this part right here? We'll move. I don't care to move forward. Do you concede?
no, I don't concede. But
Let's
but
get
Then
right
that's what
here.
hold on. That's the point of what I'm about to say. Do
let's
you
hear it.
agree? Do you agree that the creator, the writer, or influencer or inspirer of this book has a task?
Have a
And the
task.
task, yeah, he has a job to do. He has a
What do you
task.
mean? He don't really. He's the CEO. He don't have tasks. He
He
do what
needs
he
to get
want.
his mess. He needs to get the message of the good news to his creation. He has a task, right? He needs to get his laws to his creation, right?
That he did that.
The creator has a task, and the task is to let his creation know what his laws are. Do you agree with that statement?
No.
No,
Whose task is it to let us know God's laws? Whose task
the
is it?
prophet, the
Us,
prophet,
Where's he getting the God's laws from?
the book.
the prophet has a book that we
Mhm.
read, and then we get the laws from it.
From who
That's
though?
that's why he gave it to Moses.
Who
He
gave
told
the
Moses,
laws?
write this
Who
down.
who gave the laws?
God
Who said
God gave Moses a task, but
no?
nobody's giving the Most High a task.
That's
I
crazy.
mean,
That's crazy.
who gave Moses? Who was the first? Who gave Moses the laws?
Wait a minute. Are we running from this point? Are you?
No,
Because
we're not.
it
We're not.
seems like we kind of
No, we're
are
not.
kind
We
of
let it
veering
go.
I
off.
mean, if instead of looking for the trap or trying to race to the finish line, if you just
We're
answer,
not
we can
trying
move to.
to.
Okay,
It just seems like
God,
It sounds like you're moving away from it, and we're just trying to stay on topic.
Yeah, we're trying to stay on top.
before God created the world, He knew that He would have to send a Savior. Correct? Before He made the first human, right? I mean, the Bible says Jesus was
Yeah,
slain from before the
he
foundation of the world.
understands scripture from beginning to the end. We agree. Yes.
Yeah, he
Okay,
knows everything.
God,
Okay.
Isaiah
God,
46.
God has to get a message to His creation. Who
God
He
don't have to
does
do
it?
anything.
Who He
Yeah.
God don't
That's what
have
I
to
was
do.
saying. He don't have tasks.
That's why God made Yahweh Shai.
When God made
He's the
Adam and
creator of his
Eve,
angels.
when
He
God
didn't
made
do
Adam and
anything.
Eve,
Okay.
how was Adam and Eve going to know what to do and what not to do? Because God had to tell them. It's not difficult. God has to. If God wants me to know what He wants, He has to tell me. That's the task. If
That's
you
right.
want to go to the store, the task is to get in you have to go
Nah,
to the store.
nah.
God,
That's kind of like is it a task? Is it a task to wake up in the morning, brother?
no, no. Does God want us to know what His laws are? Yes or
Not
no?
everybody. Not
Everybody.
everybody.
Okay. Does God want you to know what His laws are?
He's wanting you to know too.
Okay.
Yeah.
If He wants you and me, then we can just colloquially say everybody.
No,
No,
because this
I
book is
wouldn't do that. Literally, I'm gonna go back to Deuteronomy 28
Now,
because
hold on for a
I'm
second.
gonna go actually I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 27 and 9. Listen to this. It says, and Moses and the priests and the Levites spake unto all Israel,
uh,
saying, take heed and hearken, O Israel.
mm.
This day thou art become the people of the Lord thy God. Not everybody. So I wouldn't say everybody. It's the
Okay.
no. No.
When God is sitting up in heaven and He
Hold on,
says,
I'm
I
gonna,
have
I'm
some
gonna
Oh,
let you
go
laws
ahead.
have
for
My
it.
bad.
these people.
You
When
good.
God's sitting up in heaven and He's saying, I need to let my people know what I want and I don't want. It's God's responsibility to get those laws to the people. That's all I'm saying. Do you agree with that?
Okay.
If God wants
What
me to know
people?
what he-
What people?
His people, the
Okay.
Israelites.
Okay.
Okay.
What,
If
He
what do you
gave
God
have?
them to
wants,
us.
okay,
Yes.
He
okay.
gave them to us, yeah, because he
Now,
wanted to.
okay. So let's talk about God's method of achieving his task of giving y'all his message. He
I
didn't
don't
tell
like
us,
the
hold on.
task.
I don't like that.
Okay.
Why?
God
Why?
don't have task.
Who decided that they want to give a message to Moses or Noah? Moses. Who decided to give a message
Moses.
to Moses? Whose decision was that?
The Lord said, hey
Okay, so
Moses, I got something for you.
yeah, okay, so it was God's decision to tell Moses something. That's all I'm saying. It
You
was
said a
God's
Okay,
task.
decision.
you saying task like somebody gave him a job to do.
Okay,
That's why it
okay.
sounds weird.
God made a
That's our
okay,
rebuttal to that.
okay.
That's our rebuttal to it.
I'll clean it up. God made a decision to tell his laws to Moses. God decided
Okay.
to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
God had a choice on how he could have done that. He could have coded software, but he didn't. He could have produced a film, but he didn't. He chose to author a book. And the fact that we can read, we're both sitting here arguing over what lay hold of means his method was insufficient to his task. Because if you can read his book,
What?
if you can read his book and get there are over there's more than one Hebrew Israelite camp, correct? And y'all don't agree on it. So if God's method to deliver if his decision was to get his word to his Israelites, the way he went about it wasn't very intelligent because people are looking at his word and it's
So wait a minute. So
confusing
God's
them.
method wasn't intelligent.
Wow.
So God's
That was
method wasn't
crazy.
intelligent. Is that what you
Oh,
just said?
hold on,
No, no,
God,
I
yes, his method was
so you
intelligent.
said that book you said that books are an intelligent way to pass on information? Is that what you just said?
If everybody is
But
getting
we
the
use
information,
books
no,
today.
that's not what I said. I said God's book. If everybody
What?
reads if everybody reads God's book, if 10 people reads God's book and get 10 different interpretation of it, it's a bad book.
No,
That's not
no,
even
no. Let me explain why. I'm gonna explain why. This is
okay.
That's
Deuteronomy 29 and
crazy.
29.
Okay,
That's
That's
okay.
crazy
crazy.
work.
No,
It said,
explain
hold on, I'm
why.
gonna explain it to you, Elder, because you have a gross misinterpretation of the scriptures. This is Deuteronomy 29 and 29. The secret things belong unto the Lord our God. That's
There
possessive.
you go.
Our, not everyone. So 10 different people can't get this understanding because he's only dealing with the Israelites. But those things which are revealed belong unto us, not everyone, and to
Okay,
our children forever, that
whatever.
we may do the words of his law.
Does
God is
Jesus?
a
Does Jesus?
nationalist.
Does
God is
Jesus
a
say?
nationalist. Do you understand that?
I
This
hear
isn't
you.
a universal book. You're trying
Okay.
to make it a
Yeah.
universal book.
Does Jesus
Yeah, it's
say
not
that
good.
someone will come to me and say, Lord, Lord, didn't we do this and didn't we do this in thy name? And he's gonna say, I never knew you.
Who was he
Okay,
talking to?
so
And who was he
so
talking
so
to? And
he's
who was he
talking
talking
to
to?
hold on, he's talking to somebody who think that they're part of the secret people who've been revealed to. He's
No,
talking to them.
he's talking to the Israelites. He's talking to the Israelites, brother. He ain't talking to Esau. He ain't talking to Moab. He's talking to the Israelites. This whole Bible, we literally read in Deuteronomy 28th chapter that a certain group of people would have these things happen to them. Then now you're involving everyone.
No, I'm
You're
telling
making
you
it universal.
that you just agreed, you acknowledged earlier that there could be people who think they're hearing from the Lord, but they're not.
And I
One of the-
explained to you
one of-
how. And how did I do that? And how did I explain how we know?
You said y'all start talking about righteous laws, which
Yeah,
brought up the right thing.
if they're speaking against the Torah, I know they're not talking about anything.
If they're speaking against the Torah, they're not talking about anything.
Yeah. Right.
If they're against the Torah,
Yeah.
they're not sent from God.
Nah. Not at all.
They're not. If there's someone coming over here saying, like, do you eat pork, Elder? You eat strip and crab and crawfish? Do you eat all that?
Oh, I don't eat seafood, but I eat pork.
Okay, then. God said you can't. Do you agree with God's words?
How do you know those are God's words?
Oh my God! Because the book says it.
Did you?
Okay,
Hold on. You say the book is true because the book says it's true. You just said that.
Wait a minute. So what's your moral compass?
Yeah.
What governs you? What is? How do you determine right from wrong? Because if you're saying the Bible can't tell me what's right and wrong, what measurement do you take? I want to hear this. What is your moral compass, Elder? How do you determine right from wrong without the Bible?
I told you again, man, maybe I can explain it to you. I derive my moral compass from a rational consideration of the consequences of my actions with respect to a goal. The goal is the well-being of thinking creatures. That's where I get my if I don't want to be stolen from, I'm not going to steal from you. If I don't want you going around,
that's in the Bible, though, Elder. That's the law in the Bible. You can't use the Bible.
You think that originated with the Bible? Do you think that originated with the Bible?
You can't use anything that God prescribed to govern us. So I'm asking you, if a person
How did that end up in the book of the dead 700 years before the Bible?
Wait 1 second, Elder. If a person that's graping people says what you just said, well, I think of it like this, I think of it like that. How are you going to tell him he's wrong? He has the same thought as you.
What do you mean he has the same thought as me?
If a rapist said the same thing you just said on how he governs himself, how can you tell him he's wrong for raping people?
We're talking about the well-being of thinking creatures. Violating somebody's will sexually is not in accordance with their well-being.
Was Hitler wrong for what he did?
Yes.
Was Hitler wrong? Okay, but yes. he was a Christian.
Yeah.
What does that not?
So where did he get his morals from?
That's my point. Where are you getting your morals from?
I'm not the one that's out here killing people. A Christian is.
So
but if the Bible's your moral compass,
Hitler was wrong though. Hitler was a bad guy. Right?
It was wrong.
Okay, then. So Hitler didn't follow the Bible. He just claimed to be a Christian. He didn't follow it. So I'm asking you.
They had it written. The Germans had "In God We Trust" written on their belts.
Okay,
they didn't claim it. They lived it. Hitler was a practicing Catholic.
Elder, if a person is raping people, how can you tell him he's wrong?
If he's violating someone else's autonomy, then that is not conducive to their well-being. We're talking about
how, where? How, prove. Show me in your line of thoughts how that's wrong. How are you getting that measurement from?
Okay, so if we decide to live together, if I don't want you chopping off the head of my family, I won't chop off the head of your family. If I want to keep the shit I worked for, I'm not gonna go steal it from you. I'm gonna let you keep the shit you work for. We start out with these basic rules of how we want to get along together, and then we start to build upon them rules. We start to build upon them rules.
I got a question on that. Like, what makes them what makes them different from you then? Like if they can think of however they want to put it, they can justify it themselves. Well, I did this, I stole that from him because I had a need for it. And they can justify it because they had a need for it, because that logically in their mind they needed it. What makes that wrong?
Well, that because that violates the laws that that
What
violates
The
law?
the
Wait,
code of
the
what
laws.
conduct that we
laws?
The,
started.
Laws of what?
so you would have
The
to. So
code
you
of
set up a
conduct was
code of
when
law,
if we're on a deserted island and we get dropped off, and you guys are on the island and we're on the island and we decide to live together, we have to start instituting some codes of conduct.
right?
Don't
The
kill me
laws,
and I won't
laws.
kill you. Yeah, we call them laws. Don't kill me and I won't
Yeah,
kill you.
same thing.
These laws will ensure that you can live your life
Laws,
uninterrupted or unviolated by me. Yeah,
my
but
law, my
those are
law.
bad laws. Secular humanism
Bad
doesn't
law.
say gay people should be killed. Secular humanism doesn't say that.
Why do
Christianity
you?
says
I got a question for you then.
homosexuals should be killed.
If the prosperity of a any animal kingdom, mammal, reptile is procreation so it can survive, why would you need homosexuality?
Well, if you look at nature, homosexuality have been observed in sheeps, in lions, in geese. Homosexuality has been observed in the animal kingdom.
at
Homosexuality
at
homosexuality has
at
been observed
rate of
in the hold on. Homosexuality has been observed not only in the animal kingdom and humans or animals. Homosexuality has been observed in the plant kingdom. So hold on. All I'm saying is, what if? I mean, if
what?
a
What?
quick Google search, homosexuality is where male plants try to. It's not news. Only people who haven't done the research. But homosexuality appears to be natural among all forms of life.
Or is it wicked?
Homosexuality.
Or is it wicked?
Is
How was it
wickedness
wicked?
is
Or is it
wickedness
wicked?
all in kinds of life?
So
How can
you're
something
saying
natural
something.
be wicked? How can
So you're
something
saying
natural
something
be
that's
wicked?
natural
Um,
is go
Look,
ahead.
I got you.
Hold on.
A
I'm saying it
man,
appears
look,
to be
a
it
man
appears
wants
to be
a
natural.
man. Yeah, a man wants to take a woman. It's natural for him to take a woman. She didn't want to be taken, but he
But if
took
it
her.
violates
It's
her
a part
bodily,
of.
if it
Now you
violates her
see how
bodily
that.
autonomy,
You see
that's
how
not
that.
conducive to her well
You
being.
see how now you have to tweak what you're saying, like it's the fine tune your rules.
No,
You see how you have to
I've
find.
never changed what I said. What I'm telling
Your,
you, I get
So in the
my
animal, so in the
personality.
animal kingdom, if another animal takes another animal, it's fine, right? They fight. They the men be like, "Ha! I'm the strongest man. I'm gonna sleep with all the women," right?
Yeah, that's done in
And then
certain
a
species. Yeah.
man, a man beats up all the other men. Ha! I'm gonna sleep with all the women. That's right.
In some species, the female sleeps with all the men and she
No,
kills them after she sleeps with them.
I'm
In some
I'm
species,
talking about I'm talking about human species right now. So if a man beats all the other men up, that gives him the right to take all the women?
if that's what that society has agreed to, then yeah.
No, no. I'm
The
pretty sure
society,
I'm pretty sure the animals aren't like, well, if he beats all these up, he can just take all of us. Or does he just take them?
I think they have to fight.
Yeah, they gotta fight.
You
They
don't think
fight and then they take them over.
you
Like
don't
yeah,
think
they even kill some of the they might kill the
yeah
offspring
yeah
and be like
you don't
yes,
think
but that's nature.
yeah you don't think
Is that conducive to life?
that's conducive to how they live their life. But you don't think there are other apes that
Same
don't
thing
like.
with
You don't
us.
think there are other apes that don't like that he's beating up everybody and taking on the women. You don't think that there are other apes that want to dethrone him. You don't think there are other wolves that want to be the alpha that say,
But
"Hey,
they
I don't
can't
want
do
this
nothing about
behavior."
it. Like they can't do nothing about it.
Okay, okay. But your belief is might makes right.
No, that's your belief.
No, it's not my belief.
I have rules. You said
My belief,
What's up?
my belief.
you said
What's
that
up?
the animal kingdom, like they do stuff, it's natural. So that's natural.
No. What's unnatural? If it happens across every life form, it's natural. If it doesn't happen across every life form, it's unnatural. What's unnatural? No other life form practices religion except human animals. So that's an unnatural behavior. Homosexuality happens in every
So
life form. That's a natural behavior. That's
This
just a
isn't a
fact of
religion, though.
reality.
We're not in a
this,
religion.
yeah,
We're
no,
not what?
The word
we're not in
religion,
religion.
etymologically just means to bind or hold back. We're not in a religion. I told you earlier, this Bible is Latin for biblos.
You are in a religion. You're
No, I'm
bound
not.
to that book.
No, we're not.
No.
You said religion means to bind. What
Yeah,
are you
and
bound
hold
to?
back. That's
What are you
Christianity.
bound
That's
to?
Second Adventist.
No, bind
I got
don't mean hold back.
I got a
Bind,
question then.
You're
I like it.
bound to something. You're bound to
I got
that
a
book.
question for you then. I guess that the Constitution is a religion.
No.
Why not? We
Why
gotta
not?
follow it.
The Constitution doesn't have a central figure that's worshipped or revered.
The President of the United States of America.
No, he's not worshipped or revered. Do you worship or revere our president? Do you worship or revere our president?
I'm not American.
No,
I'm not
you-
American.
That's
I'm an
crazy.
Israelite. I'm an Israelite.
Donald Trump. People aren't wearing MAGA hats. That's
I
not
don't
Some people
vote.
are.
I don't vote for a king that is not of my people.
because that's our law. So again, there's not white people.
So that
out here
don't
wearing
apply to me.
MAGA hats. There's not people out here wearing MAGA hats.
I saw just the other day that they put the Pope. They had the Donald Trump as the Pope. A picture of him.
Yeah, I saw that. That means.
And they,
do you think those MAGA
they worship
people are
him.
confused? You think that those MAGA people are confused?
It doesn't even matter about confusion. It's do they worship him or not?
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is,
if you're confused, then and you worship Buddha, you still worship Buddha. Don't make you no different.
Could y'all be confused?
If the Most High makes me confused, yeah. If he gets me up to confusion,
that's the most honest thing I've heard in a long time. If he makes you confused, how would you know if he did?
Because we wouldn't.
How would I know?
How would you know if he was intentionally confusing
you? Because I have a brother right there that has the Constitution that I'm supposed to be following, and if I go outside of my Constitution, I must be confused.
What if God wanted to confuse all of y'all? How would you know?
Because we wouldn't be keeping the law, brother. We would be.
We wouldn't.
Like
this wouldn't be our Constitution. Our Bible wouldn't be our Constitution.
Does the Bible ever record God saying he gave people laws that he knew weren't good and laws that they couldn't live off of? Does the Bible record God saying that?
No.
Are you sure?
That God said that he gave them laws that weren't good for them?
Yes.
The Bible says the law is perfect.
Okay,
bring forth your bring forth
Ezekiel 20:25.
That's not the law.
No, but God is speaking.
Where?
Ezekiel 20:25. Let's read that verse.
No, show us in the law where it says that these laws may not be good.
We're talking about what God is speaking. He's speaking about the laws. He's not going to speak about the laws in the laws. He's going to give you the laws.
Where'd you say go?
Ezekiel 20
and 25.
Really? Let's do 5.
You start at verse 25.
No, I'm gonna start at 5. This is crazy. Hold on. Wait. I can't believe this is disasters. I can't believe you went to this. This is disaster.
Let's walk with it. Yeah. Verse it out.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna piece you up. We got you. Hold on. Okay. Share this tab instead. So I'm gonna start at 5, and then we'll jump down to your verse.
All right.
I say unto them, who's the them right here?
I assume he's talking to Israel.
Okay. Let's say if the Lord God, in the day when I choose Israel, what does this mean? God's gonna choose Israel?
Yeah.
So he's not gonna choose anyone else, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And lifted up my head against this into the seed of the house of Jacob, and made myself known unto them in the land of Egypt. What is this talking about? How did he make himself known to them in the land of Egypt? What did he do?
I don't know. Tell me.
The plagues, everything, getting them out of getting them across the sea and all that stuff, all the plagues, the firstborn dead, all that.
Yeah.
And we can prove that happened. We can see that there's a river crossing. We can literally scientifically show all that.
Yeah. It's impossible that happened.
Elder, there's scientific proof that validates it. Not what Mr. Chris says. We're talking about scholars. who are there at the scene that can validate all this. Not
scholars
just
that were at the scene.
what you're doing. Hold on. When I lifted up my hand against them, saying, I am the Lord your God. So now that we got an understanding that the Lord is for the house of Jacob, and he's gonna choose us. Let's go to your verse.
Actually, let's start at 23 so we can get context.
Huh.
I'm gonna read it. This is Ezekiel 20 and 23. Because the problem is you don't understand what's being said here.
I understand it a lot, but go ahead, read it.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna show you how you have misunderstood that. This is Ezekiel 20 and 23. I lifted up my hands unto them also in the wilderness, that I would scatter them among the heathen and disperse them through the countries, because they had not executed my judgments, but have despised my statutes and have polluted my Sabbaths.
What's this
mean? Oh, go ahead.
No, what's that mean?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Well, you wait a minute. So
what are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
Because they had not executed my judgments.
Who's they?
The Israelites.
Okay. All right, go ahead, okay.
Like this, but had despised my statutes and polluted my Sabbaths, and their eyes were after their fathers' idols. So just to give you the understanding of this, they were supposed to keep his laws, but they did not keep his laws. What happens when, we talked about this earlier, when you don't keep the laws, is there not a law written that bad things would happen to you?
Yeah.
Is there not?
Yeah, according to Deuteronomy, yeah.
Yeah. So guess what you thought you had, but what 25 is actually saying. Therefore, I gave them also. So that means they got laws, and they also got this law, the things that you thought you had when you thought you had a bullet in the chamber, that you didn't. Because what it's saying is, I gave them, if you keep my law, statutes, and commandments, you get blessings. But if you don't, which we said that he didn't, I have law, statutes against them that are not good. What are those called? I thought they were called curses.
Curses.
You thought you had one, but you didn't. And that's exactly why I say, when they try to cherry pick things out of context and you think you got something, if you get the context of it, you'll get the understanding of it.
Well, that's one interpretation of it.
No,
I got you. Go
ahead.
The problem
it's all you lying. It's all you lying.
The problem is a Christian pointed this verse out to me, and
thank God I'm not a Christian.
I know, but y'all reading the same book. The problem is a Christian.
Elder, before you say that, I want you to get your foot in your mouth, Elder. Read it before you got to understand where we stand. I think the problem is you don't understand where we stand. How the Hebrew Israelites, dude. I think that's the problem. This is 2 Peter 1 and 20. Knowing this first, there is no prophecy of Scripture of any private interpretation. So we can't sit here and say what we think. No, that's why we're going into the documents. That's why we're going into the all the other translations and everything that we're going through, because we have to use this book. I can't tell you what I think, Chris, and that's what you've been doing this whole time. You've been telling us what you think. You've been saying what you thought it meant, but the whole time the Bible describes itself. It don't need no help.
It don't need no help. So why are there different Hebrew? Why are there different? If the Bible explains itself, why are there different Hebrew Israelite camps?
That
don't make any sense.
In the Bible, there was a bunch of camps in the Bible.
Are we all in one? Oh, my bad. I was about to say this. There's a camp because there's not one here. Like we put a camp here because there wasn't one here.
No, there are different factions. You guys aren't all the same camp. There are different Hebrew Israelite camps, is what I'm saying.
Like, what do you mean?
Like they have different names?
Like ISUPK, that think different things. There are different Hebrew Israelite camps that think different things.
Agreed, but we all in totality agree that Esau's the devil. We all in totality agree that he's only coming back for the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, there'll be some minute things. Maybe a woman's supposed to wear a dress. We can have a difference on that. That's just minute things, but as far as the totality and the main message, we're all on the same accord.
But if the word was perfect, there wouldn't be any disagreements on anything. If the word was perfect, unless by perfect you mean something else.
That don't have nothing to do with the
Yeah.
word being
If the
perfect.
word is perfect,
If a
then it
diamond is
shouldn't be
perfect, but the
misinterpreted.
person that wearing the diamond doesn't have to be perfect. Just because the diamond, I got a diamond. If I get a diamond ring, does that make me all perfect because I got a perfect diamond ring?
So God sent a perfect word to imperfect creatures who couldn't interpret it correctly, which caused different factions, which caused different people to break up into different factions with different beliefs.
But brother, let me let you know something. Even though
That's
those said
wild.
camps, we may think something different. We all congregate together. Like we have super camps, brother. Like we get with this other camp and this other camp, and we all get together and we preach the word. So we
Mhm.
can't be in that big of a difference if we're able to come together and do super camps.
The same word that Christians preach,
Hold
and
on,
they
no.
don't believe
No,
Esau is the
definitely,
devil.
definitely
No,
not. Definitely not
Christians read
Christians.
So
Christians
you
read from
telling
the
me
Old Testament.
Seventh Day Adventists get together with the Christian church and do group things?
No,
No,
they
they
don't.
don't.
No, they
Not at
don't.
all. Not at
Okay,
No, they
all.
don't.
we
That's
do
proving
that
my
though.
point.
But
That's proving my
that was
point.
a bad comparison.
Yeah, that
No,
was
That was a
horrible.
bad
my
that was
point
a
is
bad
his
comparison.
method is insufficient to the task. That's my point,
Mhm,
because you read a book and you think Esau is the devil, but we have
mhm.
Christians who read the same book. It don't matter that they have different beliefs. They read the same book and they draw
He,
different conclusions, and they
he
don't think
already
Esau is the devil.
We already
he
explained.
already explained that. He already explained that. He said they were given to us and our children, not given to Christians and and other Christians that follow Christianity. That wasn't what it said. It said it was given to the children of Israel and their children.
So
You
so
get
so
that?
so 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 they
I can pick
so
up a
the
book
Baptists.
and
So
have a different
what are the Baptists? A false
understanding.
religion? What are the Baptists and the
I,
Presbyterians and Methodists? They're false religions. They
Yeah,
have,
I
or
definitely
is it
would
they're
say
biblical
that.
wrong?
exactly their
I would
religion.
definitely their
They have
religion.
Their
I would
religion.
religion.
definitely say that. I would definitely say they have a lot of things wrong.
They
This
have a lot
isn't
of
a
things wrong,
religion for us. This is
Yep,
a
they definitely have a
lifestyle
lot of
thing.
wrong.
but they're reading from the same books you're reading from.
Oh,
And then they're coming up with their own rules in what, because I have a book that I just got maybe about a year ago. It's called How to Interpret the Bible, and it tells you what the problem was. It was because of traditions of men that were taught to them of how they interpret it. It doesn't talk about what the Bible says. It says how they looked at it,
Okay,
how they believed it to fit their doctrine of what they wanted to teach.
so if
question.
God, out of His myriad of ways, decided instead of writing a book to appear to each and every one of us in a way that's undeniable,
Not for
do you
everybody.
think why not?
Because we just explained to you in the
What
Bible, we literally
No, no,
you
said
no.
miss?
But do you think it would have been
You
a more
missed all
loving
that.
act? Would it
you
have been
missed
a
all
more
of that.
loving act for God to appear to me once I'm of age with my brain where I could think? Would it be a more loving act for God to appear to me in
No,
a way that's undeniable and say, "Hey, this is me. This is what I want, and here's what I have for you," and it just vanished? Wouldn't that be more loving than to give me some book that we have no original
nope.
manuscripts for? It's been misinterpreted and is misinterpreted by everybody.
Because you still wouldn't do what he said.
How do you know that?
Because
Can you?
you're not
Can
doing
you
it.
still eat it? Look this. You put down pork?
Do you
Can you
believe in
put
Satan?
can you put around the pork? The
Uh,
adversary. Can you put down pork?
if I did, it would be for health reasons. It wouldn't be because the book said something. But
And
you believe
that's
in
why
the
you don't have understanding, elder, because you
do
don't
you,
keep
do
the
Mhm.
you believe
law.
you believe that you believe the devil was in heaven, right? Or Lucifer? Do you believe Lucifer was in heaven?
Lucifer
No.
just means light bearer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
That's not
Lucifer.
Was the
I don't
was
know what you're talking about. What
yeah.
does Lucifer being in heaven have to do with
was the
anything?
devil in heaven?
Prince
Was the devil
Lucifer.
ever in heaven at one point
What do
Yes,
you
he was in the
mean?
book of Job. Yes.
in the book of Job?
Yes.
Hmm.
And
So
what was he
so
doing there? And elder, what was he doing there?
Good. Hey, that's a great
Most High
question.
asked him, he said, wherever you coming from, to and fro. He works for the Most High.
You're
He's an
right.
angel on the left-hand side. We can pull it up in Job.
oh no, I
Literally.
Hmm.
believe that. I believe that.
Okay,
If the Bible is
so
true,
why don't you understand that there's angels on the left-hand side and angels on the right-hand side.
uh-huh.
Hmm.
That's why they had a council, and he was like, I'll be a lion spirit, and I'll go to Job.
That's right. No, that was to the king.
Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
slocky. But you know,
No,
you
you
know,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's exactly, they have councils in heaven. on the left hand side, on the right hand side. God has an army of angels.
And
That's
they
why
wanted
he's
to
called
test
a
Job.
host. Go ahead.
And they
Army
wanted
of
to
hosts.
test Job by killing his family and infecting him with sores and diseases. That's what the Most High
God
thought
can do
was
what
good.
he wants. God can do what he wants. He wanted to put us in slavery. Guess what? We was sitting back in there like, how is he going to put us in slavery? He got us on them slave ships and got us over here.
So God kills Job's family. Let me ask you something. When I'm looking at the character of your God. I mean, he gives Job a new family, and I have an issue with that. Why didn't he just raise Job's family from the dead? And what do you mean to tell a parent who lost their kid tragically that your new daughters are going to be even more beautiful than your old ones? When we talk about the character of your God making a bet to test Job's faith, doesn't God know everything? Who was he? Who was he trying to prove himself to?
Who? Who was who?
Who was God trying
God
to
was
prove
talking
himself?
to,
When he
was
said,
God,
"Have you thought about?" When you thought about, when he said, where you been?" And the devil was like, Satan was like, "Nigga, I've been where I was at. I was where I was." And
no,
God
he
said,
said, I've been
"Well,
to and fro, causing many.
He
yeah,
said
yeah. What we
he
talking
told
about?
the Most High nigga, I'll be where I be.
No,
Lord in
we're talking
Christ.
about today's vernacular. Hey, yo, where you been? You
Okay.
crashing the party. We talking
Nah,
about today's vernacular. So where have you
if
been? Nigga, I've
nah,
been where I've been. I was at
nah,
where I was
he
at.
didn't say that. He that ain't even nowhere near close. He told him exactly what he been doing.
He
I've
said,
been
I've
to
been
and
walking
fro in
to
the
and fro
earth.
in the earth. That's basically
Not
in
like
black
nigga, I just do whatever I want.
in
I
black
do what I do.
speak, in black
That's not
speak,
what he
where you
did.
been, nigga? Nigga, I've been where I've been. But the point is,
That
God
is
didn't
not what
address
he
that. After clear blue, he just said,
Wow.
what about my servant Job? And that's look at the character. We're talking about raped women and how we're going to misinterpret and how we're going to interpret it.
What?
We're talking about the character of this being that you guys choose to follow. Why would a God have a chosen people? What sense does that make? That sounds like a human characteristic.
Hold
When,
on,
when
hold
you,
on, hold on just a second. Hold on a second.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't have you don't have a favorite shirt. You don't have favorite shoes you like.
I'm a
You ain't got a
human.
You don't
favorite
have a favorite
food.
drink.
You got a
I'm a
favorite food.
human.
Where do you think you
Favorite
got
food.
that attribute from? You got it from God.
So you don't
Okay,
think
He
God has
he has
feelings?
if God
favorite things.
if God is perfect,
That's the whole thing. It tells you he got a favorite
why
bird,
would
a
he?
favorite flower, a favorite tree.
How do you
He's
know
got
this?
Favorite
favorite.
people?
How
It
do you know
says it
this?
in the book. It says it in the book.
I don't know. Do you know what a fallacy is? You guys know what a fallacy is?
Don't move. No, don't run for what we're
I'm
saying.
not running.
Stay on
Nah.
task. Stay on task.
When you the book is the very thing you're trying to prove. When I say how do you know the book is true, you can't say because the
Okay.
book says it's true. That's
Prove
circular
to
reasoning.
me that God doesn't like it.
You have to demonstrate that a God
What?
exists
What?
before we can
What?
start giving attributes to him. You have to
What?
demonstrate that one even exists.
I gave you
You
like
you you
what doesn't exist that you prove something to?
I got you. I got you. I come. I
Man,
pulled out the clip for
that's
this one. Hold on.
crazy.
I
you,
got
You
you.
can't see the wind. You can't see the wind, but you know it's there, right?
because I see the leaves blowing. So I see the
Because you can
effects
see
of the
the effects
wind.
of it. And
Okay.
God had an effect on the prophets. And the prophets prophesied. And then the
What
prophecies came to pass.
how
Like
do you
it
know those
even in Revelation, he says that the Euphrates River was gonna dry up. Did the Euphrates River
who
dry
said
up?
that? Who said that?
Look here, John the Revelator said it came from the angel. And he
Where
said
did
that
John
the it said that the river
where did John write that
what?
revelation at?
Hold on.
Where did
In
John write
it's called the book of Revelations.
where was it written at?
It was written
The island of
The island of
you mean like
Patmos.
actually a
Yeah,
physical location?
yeah,
Hold on.
the island of
I got you.
Patmos.
I got you.
Hold
Heather.
on,
Got
let me prove this.
I got
Do
you.
you know what the
got
island of Patmos is
Elder,
famous for?
Elder, listen, because
Go ahead.
you're over acting like God don't have feelings and feel sorry for what he does to his people. So we're
right.
gonna read it. We're gonna read it. All right. This is Jeremiah 42. I'm gonna read it in the GMT so it can help you understand it a little better. And I'm gonna start at verse 8. Or I'll start at 9. Because this is where this is the Lord's answer to Jeremiah's prayer. So the Lord is answering Jeremiah's prayer. Okay. Because to give you some context, the people were asking what happened because Jeremiah just prophesied the destruction of this so-called place, the same things we do right now. So let's read how God feels about what he did to his people, because you're acting like God don't have any feelings. So this is verse 8. So I called together Johanan and all the army leaders who were with him and all the other people. And I said it to them, the Lord God of Israel, to whom you have sent me with your request, has said. So we're about to read what God said. All right.
Yeah.
If you are willing to go on living in this land, I will build you up and not tear you down. Hold on. Build you up and not tear you down. I will plant you and not pull you up. The destruction I have brought to you has caused me great sorrow.
Yes, feelings.
Bad. So
Feelings.
God is feeling bad for what he did to us.
How?
He just said
How can somebody? How can an all-knowing being feel regret or sorrow? How?
What does all-knowing have to do with feelings?
If your car says 2 miles to empty, and you drive it to the store knowing the store is 5 miles away, at 2 miles, how are you going to be surprised that your car ran out of gas? You knew ahead of time what would happen if you didn't put gas in your car. I'm trying to make it simple as I can. How can, if you know that after 2 miles, your car is going to stop, and you go and you try to go 2.5 miles, and then when your car stops, you're like, what the fuck? What the heck? That's not going to happen. How can someone who knows the future feel regret if you know what's already going to happen? Because that implies shock.
Okay, wait a minute.
That's a crazy analogy.
That's not a crazy analogy.
Hold on, I got
you.
So my son,
go ahead.
If my son did something and I knew I knew there was a chance he wasn't going to make it, am I now weird because I feel sorry because he didn't make it? That's what you're trying to say. Like, I know that he's my son. I know he can go do this, but if he fails, am I not going to feel any kind of way about it? I'm just going to like I don't know who.
That's why I said that was a bad analogy.
What white man talk to you?
Because God is all knowing. So if he knows what's going to happen in the future,
we just read that God was sorry for what he did to us.
And I'm asking you, how can an all-knowing being experience sorrow if he knew what was going to happen before it happened?
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, aren't we made in his image?
That's what the book says.
So do you get sorry and feel bad?
Yeah.
Dang.
That's how.
Where you thought it came? Where you thought it came from? Where did it come from?
Is God horny?
Let me read this. This is Jeremiah 5:21.
Is God horny?
Is God horny?
Is God horny?
Wow, that's wild. That's wild.
I get horny. Let's substitute sorrow that you was able to do. I get horny. I made in God's image. Does God get horny?
Does God have a testosterone pumping through his veins?
I don't know, but what I'm doing
is a spirit. Of course he doesn't.
I'm accepting your premise to show that it's illogical when used in another situation. If you say, do you feel sorrow? Why do you feel sorrow? Because you made
that's a whole different thing. That's a biological. That's called biology. That's biology. Being sad isn't biology.
Being sad is biology. What do you think a sociopath is? Somebody that doesn't experience those emotions. So that's like, yeah. So what I'm saying is,
that's psychology, not biology.
We're talking about if somebody can feel sad. There are people who don't feel sad for things. There are people who are in court who the judge says you are showing no remorse.
Is that the norm?
It depends on who's doing what. Have you ever seen
more than 50% of the world has no feelings towards anything.
I don't know. Depending on what that is. Situational. I'm a situational ethicist.
That's wild.
Situational.
You can put 10 people in a room and that still be that it may be one.
If you attribute part of my feelings to God,
I didn't read this. It's Jeremiah 5:21 in GNT. Pay attention, you foolish, stupid people who have eyes but cannot see and have ears but cannot hear. Elder, this is talking to you. Like we literally showed you verbatim in the scriptures that God has attributes, he has feelings, that God is only for a certain group of people, you literally cannot see it.
How do we know outside of the Bible?
You can't see it.
Okay, outside of the Bible, do we have any idea of what God wants?
How is that even a feasible request?
I don't know how. I don't
Because
know.
because
I don't know
coming,
how you would know what anything wants. Do you know? Like is
of
without
course,
having some kind of
course,
instruction of what
of
it
course.
wants.
So you realize that if you was born in India, you wouldn't be reading these verses to me. You'd be reading out the Bhagavad Gita. If you was born in Pakistan, you'd be reading out the Quran.
I wouldn't be an Israelite. More
You're
likely.
correct. So
I got
it
you,
appears your religion isn't divinely inspired. It appears your religion is geographical.
Elder, we're in America, so I
Uh-huh.
can use that same argument. So should we have the Bible? We're not Jerusalem. So why do we have it here? So I would have
Good
it in
point.
India. Like I would have
Good
it
point.
here.
It appears your religion is geographical, then, doesn't it?
No,
Not at all.
it is. In your head, it is. But we're already
So if
in
you were born in
America. We're not even
Pakistan,
in
do you
Jerusalem.
think you'd be a Christian? Would you be a Hebrew Israelite if you was born in Pakistan?
Yes, I'm a
If I was an Israelite, if I'm an Israelite, I'm an Israelite.
I'm an Israelite.
It's a bloodline.
If you was born in India, that's what you think you'd have been taught growing up.
Hey, guess what? There are Israelites in India.
Yeah.
There's a whole tribe of them, of Jews in India.
You didn't choose your religion. You understand that?
We don't have a religion.
We
don't have a religion.
We don't have a religion.
We don't have
a religion.
You follow a book. You have a God. That's a religion. You're bound to those laws. Your religion binds you.
You follow the laws of the land. You follow a book.
That's a religion.
That's a religion.
You follow a religion then.
The Constitution.
The Constitution grants us freedom.
Oh.
Your book doesn't grant you any freedom.
It doesn't. I could have sworn there's a whole verse that says the law of liberty.
The law of liberty.
Yeah, it says law of liberty. So that means freedoms.
So you're free to eat pork.
The water guy. Appreciate you chiming in, man.
That is crazy.
No, you said law of liberty. Are you free?
Look. I could eat pork, but then I've got a fearful indignation coming towards me. Because with my law, I can disobey
to eat it. You have to disobey to eat it.
I would have to disobey to eat it, but I can eat I can eat a hamburger. I can eat a hot dog.
In order to be in compliance, you have prohibited beliefs and required beliefs in order to stay in compliance.
And so do you.
Okay.
And so
when
do you.
When you say laws of liberty,
so you have a religion?
No, I don't have a religion. I don't have a belief.
But the same rules you're applying to me apply to you.
Give me an example of what you're talking about.
Hey, you run the red light. What happened? Cop sees you. What happened?
I could hit somebody and kill them. That's what would happen.
No. I gave you the scenario. I'm looking for the answer to the scenario.
I could be pulled over and fined.
So you're free to do it, but there's a consequence to it, right?
But the consequences goes past me. It's not just me. If you eat pork, the consequence is just with you. Right? Just between you and your God. If you eat pork, the consequence is just between you and your God. If I run a red light,
you run the red light, that's between you and your God.
No, I could hit a family and kill them.
We ain't say that though.
That's not even in the scenario.
If I violate my laws, the repercussion, and like I said, a rational consideration of the consequences of my actions. If I run a red light, I could kill somebody. If you go against your laws and eat pork, there's nobody else involved in it. There's nobody else involved in it. When you break your laws, your shit is thought crime. There's nobody else involved in eating pork.
There's nobody else. There ain't nobody else involved. Not the people around me that could catch nothing.
What if nobody else?
My household, nothing will happen. Nothing could happen to my household. If you look, Job, the perfect man, who didn't do anything, had everything happen to his household, but I'm gonna test my limits, and I'm not a perfect man, and I'm gonna eat pork to see if something does happen.
But I ate pork and nothing.
That's wild.
But I ate pork.
Actually, elder, something has happened. Your understanding of this Bible is shut.
you have no evidence that the book you're reading is from a God. You have no evidence that that's what
You
that
have
God
no
wrote.
evidence.
You
Look, you have no evidence that it isn't from the God.
the burden of proof is on the people making the
No.
claim.
And we
You're
made
claiming that that
elder,
book is
elder,
the word
elder,
of God.
elder. We're gonna simmer it down because this is already 2 hours. We
Yeah.
already proved our point with prophecy. We proved that the validity of the Bible through the curses of your last name. You go back to a white man. You're not no white dude. And that's a curse in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. We already established that. It's like what we're telling you is going in one ear and out the other. So this is what we're going to do. Since we're already at the 2 hour limit, I really appreciate you having this dialogue.
I appreciate this too.
No,
I really appreciate it.
This was really good.
Yeah.
People are going to be able to hear your side, hear our side, and all that stuff. Like there's people who think like you, and this is great. So what I want to do is I want to have a part 2. Is that okay?
That's fine. It's perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. Wonderful.
I didn't even get to present. We didn't even get to go into this is we didn't even get to go into. I didn't even get to go into my clip on you. All these notes. I didn't even get to go into all my slide board. I didn't even get to go into. So I tell you what, this was a beautiful dialogue. I really appreciate you getting on here. I really do. I appreciate you. I really do. We really do.
Good talking to you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it.
This was great.
Look forward to it again.
Okay.
We're going to end it here, and I got your information. We're going to talk. I'm going to set up another dialogue, and then we'll be more. We'll actually have the dialogue we were supposed to have because we went.
We were everywhere.
We went way off track, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All praise to the Most High. So what we're going to do, we're going to let you close out, let you let you have your final thought. We're going to be totally quiet.
It was good talking to you guys. You know, when we talk about prophecies, we'll leave on this. You know, you want to mention prophecies that you think came true. There's a ton of them that didn't come true. I tried to point out that, you know, one false thing invalidates the whole claim when I use the outboxing men and stuff like that. There are a lot of prophecies that don't come true, a lot of prophecies that are false. We can use the one or two that you want to interject and say is yours. But I kind of wanted to get a feel for this. First time doing this, kind of wanted to get a feel for this. I think the next time I'll be a little more prepared. I should have been taking notes, and I wasn't, which kind of leads us to going all over the place. But yeah, I enjoy this. I enjoy this. Looking forward to doing it again.
I'll praise the Most High.
Okay. Hey, run it. I'm about to say, run it back.
I encourage
just
you
watch it again.
Yeah,
I encourage you to watch it again. So you can take notes, and then you'll be able to do that better. But hey, Elder, it was an honor having you on here. We appreciate you. We love you, God.
Definitely.
We appreciate you so much. All right, I'm gonna kick you off.
Good luck, guys.
Hey, we'll talk soon. All right.
All right.
Oh.
You're like everybody off the stage.
that was fast right there. That was fast. Well,
man, 2 hours went like that.
Hey, Hezekiah, I'm gonna let you give your final word on what happened.
Hey, I think it was a beautiful dialogue because the way that the elders speaking is the same way that our people talk when we're in the streets. It's a good conversation. It's an honor to be able to have this space with the brothers and actually try to figure this out, because I think we laid down some good premises. He'll go back and he'll look at it, and then he'll be like, okay, maybe I should have said this or use it that way, give better analogy so we can get better understanding of what each other's saying. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to communicate amongst our people, and we're trying to get to the bottom and the truth of the matter.
All praise to the Most High. I couldn't have said it no more better. This was a great dialogue. I mean, I encourage people to share it to other people who have the same belief system as him. Or if you're just a Bible enthusiast and you want truth, I encourage you just to watch this, because a lot of things were brought out. We didn't even get to go into my brother didn't get to go into the Moabite stone. I didn't get to go into any of my stuff.
No archaeology. We didn't get to bring none of that.
That's fine. The Spirit will take you there sometimes. That's just this win. And man, all we can say is we give all the glory to the Most High. Because without him, we would not. We would be like that, you know what I'm saying? So to him, and I appreciate my brother Hezekiah jumping on here and us having that fade with him. I appreciate you, brother, so much. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We're going to have a part 2 to build more with the brother. Bring him on in, because he is a blank slate. At the end of the day, we possibly he can repent and he can be on our side. If it be to the will of the Most High. But with that, man, we're gonna close out, man. All praise to the Most High. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the main channel. Subscribe to my brother's channel. He's got a channel where he does his thing. Subscribe to that. I'll put the ats in the thing. And Shalom.